Hello, my loves. So I just had a really big breakthrough and felt really called to share it with whomever. So we spend a lot of time focusing and talking about shadow work and coming to loving and accepting our shadow aspects and our darkness, because darkness and light balance duality, right? But we spend a lot of time talking about the shadow work and doing the shadow work, and it's necessary. I don't want to downplay the shadow work at all. That's not the intention of this message. Um, what I just did was what felt like the opposite of shadow work, and so the only thing that my brain right now can come up with is light work, and not as far as like a light worker spreading our energy and raising our vibration you know for the collective, but light work as meaning I was sitting here listening to some songs while I was doing a puzzle on my computer, and some love songs came on, and it's not really like it's not an old hat for me, excuse me, verbal confirmation, to listen to or sing love songs like to myself, like from my masculine to my feminine or vice versa. What happened this time was my shadow or ego was singing to my light higher self, to the light aspect of myself. And it started out with like this song about like I'm not the devil that you think I am, and I think by Cody Jenkins, um, and he's taking accountability for the fact that he screwed up, but he's not like a lost cause because of screwing up, right? And I'm just sitting and I'm hearing like my shadow aspect or my ego singing this to my light side, and and then I started looking at myself in the mirror and singing it, and I'm like, wow, okay, no, this is like huge growth, because I've always known that as an extremely bright person that I've always naturally been, that means equally I've internally known that means I equally have as much darkness, because balance. I was terrified to show that darkness because I didn't think I ever had control before. So listening to that like aspect be like I'm not that bad, and then like it really like started this whole balance and integration and acceptance of where my shadow needed to forgive the light aspect for being like toxic in lightness and being so focused on being loving and light towards others that we weren't taking care of ourselves. So I had to like my ego just forgave my light side and my inner child, I guess. Like I'm not even sure what terms here, but I'm just like it was the opposite of sitting with like the things that I've done or the things that I've been like embarrassed of or repressing. Like it was because I've never been embarrassed, and I'm not saying that I'm embarrassed now or having shame, but like I've never I've never seen it through that perspective where all of that love and light that I was giving to the point where I was depleting myself was unhealthy and like needed to let the ego, whose job it is to make sure I stay alive and take care of myself before I try to go out and care for others, right? Like the ego's job is to put your oxygen mask on your face first so that you can breathe while you're trying to help others put their oxygen mask on. And so I just like had this moment where my ego forgave my inner child for being a people pleaser. And I no longer like, and I'm telling you, like, such a big mind blow. Like my brain literally was like, oh, for a few minutes afterwards. Like it still kind of is like, girl, like, what? So yes, do the shadow work. Do the shadow work, please. Like it's vital. But it's also vital to let your ego have its moment of being like, hey, you kind of owe me an apology for squashing me down for so long that you were, on the brink of, you know what I'm saying? Like, I literally was. Like, I was a literal walking skeleton at the lowest point for myself. Like, and I'm not a big girl to start with, so I didn't really have a whole, you know what I mean? Like, and I don't like, and that's in that physical representation, like that's the outer reflecting the inner. Like I was giving so much, like literally giving everything that I had, and not giving myself, not keeping any for myself, not giving myself anything. That my physical outside vessel was starting to literally just become skin and bones. So it's not just about the inner child. It's like the inner child has some apologies too. It's awesome and it's beautiful and it's amazing, and I'm just like, oh. And that's not to take away the innocence of the inner child in any way, shape, or form, to any degree. But the inner child needs to take accountability just as much as the ego. Whose children are these? Ours. I love you, gods and goddesses. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you.